The 20 Greatest Mysteries of the Bible. The Bible is the most important book for hundreds of millions of people around the world. Many believe it holds all the answers to life's biggest questions, and yet, it also raises countless mysteries. Within its pages lies a whirlwind of enigmas, some so complex they could haunt your dreams. Most people would expect that if the end of the world were announced, the date would be included. But the Bible tells us that it will happen, not when. It clearly says that only God knows the exact time. Biblical texts also speak of monstrous creatures and giant humans, being so strange and otherworldly that no one knows exactly what they were, or what became of them. Number 1. The Name of God. Most major religions have proper names for their key figures. In Judaism, we have Moses, Abraham, and Jacob. In Christianity, Jesus of Nazareth. In Islam, the Prophet Muhammad. Yet, when it comes to God, the supreme being in all these faiths, there is no universally agreed upon name. In Judaism, God is referred to by the Tetragrammaton, the four-letter Hebrew name YHWH, considered too sacred to pronounce. Interestingly, Islam is the only major religion where a widely accepted name for God exists: Allah, a name often misunderstood, but essentially derived from the same root as the Hebrew word for God. Number 2. The Behemoth. In Job 40:15, God says to Job, "Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you. He eats grass like an ox. See now, his strength is in his loins and his power in the muscles of his belly. He moves his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are tightly knit. His bones are like bronze tubes. His limbs like bars of iron." The Book of Enoch, a text considered apocryphal by most Christian denominations, also mentions the behemoth, alongside another famous biblical creature, the Leviathan. It says, "And on that day, two monsters will be separated, a female named Leviathan, who will dwell in the watery abyss, and a male called Behemoth, who will occupy a vast desert called Duodain." Judging by these descriptions, the behemoth was clearly an intimidating, monstrous beast. But what exactly was it? Some believe it may have been a hippopotamus or a rhinoceros, but certain details in the biblical description, like the tail that moves like a cedar, don't quite fit those animals. Some biblical scholars even propose that the behemoth could have been a dinosaur, based on the mention of its massive tree-like tail. Number 3. Whatever happened to the Holy Grail? According to Christian tradition, the Holy Grail is the cup or chalice from which Jesus drank wine during the Last Supper. One version of the story claims that after Jesus' resurrection, he appeared to Joseph of Arimathea and instructed him to take the Grail to Britain. This account was written in the 12th century by French author Robert de Boron. Later versions added that Joseph of Arimathea used the chalice to collect the blood flowing from Jesus' wound during the crucifixion. Another theory suggests that the cup was transported from the Holy Land to Europe by the Knights Templar. A BBC report revealed that over 200 different locations in Europe claim to possess the one and only true Holy Grail. So where is it now? Or did it ever exist? Number 4. The year Jesus was born. Most biblical events, especially those described in the Gospels, aren't tied to precise dates. But when it comes to Jesus' birth, we actually get a rare clue. The Gospel of Luke says Jesus was born during a major census while Herod the Great was still alive. However, here's where the mystery deepens. Herod the Great is believed to have died in Jericho sometime between 4 and 3 BCE, according to most scholars. The major census Luke refers to was ordered by the Roman governor Publius Sulpicius Quirinius, better known as Quirinius. The first-century Jewish Roman historian Flavius Josephus recorded that this census took place 37 years after the naval battle in which Octavian defeated Mark Antony, an event that occurred on September 2, 31 BCE. That places the census around 6 CE, about 9 years after Herod's death, creating a major contradiction in Luke's timeline. Most historians agree that Jesus was indeed a historical figure. The most accurate way to refer to his birth might be this: he was born somewhere near the beginning of the 1st century of the Common Era. Number 5. The location of Noah's Ark. According to the book of Genesis, God saved humanity from complete extinction during the Great Flood by instructing Noah and his sons to build an ark. While the floodwaters raged, Genesis says, the waters receded steadily from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the water had gone down, and on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Mount Ararat, the highest peak in modern-day Turkey, standing at over 16,800 feet, 5,137 meters above sea level, has long been regarded in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic tradition as the landing place of Noah's Ark. However, scholars widely agree that the mountains of Ararat mentioned in Genesis do not refer specifically to this Turkish volcano located near the borders of Armenia and Iran. The link between the biblical ark and this particular mountain didn't emerge until nearly 1,000 years after the supposed time of the flood. So where did the ark actually land? That remains one of the Bible's most enduring geographical mysteries. Number 6. The Lost Books of the Bible. Even though the Bible contains over 750,000 words, making it one of the longest books in history, it was originally intended to be even longer. At least 17 books mentioned within the Bible itself are completely missing from modern versions. For example, 1 Chronicles chapter 29 verse 29 states, "The events of King David's reign, from beginning to end, are written in the records of Samuel the seer, the records of Nathan the prophet, and the records of Gad the seer." However, neither the records of Nathan nor the records of Gad appear anywhere in today's Bible, and no one knows what happened to them. Were they lost over time? Or were they deliberately excluded without leaving a trace? A similar fate befell the book of the Wars of the Lord, mentioned in Numbers chapter 21, verses 14-15. Despite these references, the actual books themselves have never been found.
Number 7. The Fate of the Giants.
Genesis 6:4 states, "There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." These hybrid beings, known in the Bible as Nephilim, were said to be the offspring of fallen angels and human women, born in the time of Noah. Though most scholars believe they perished in the Great Flood, the Bible never explicitly tells us what happened to them. But the Nephilim aren't the only mysterious giants in the Bible. In the book of Numbers, a group of spies sent by Moses to scout the land of Canaan returns terrified. They report seeing people so enormous that they felt like grasshoppers in comparison. Numbers 13:32 reads, "The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." Were these tales meant to be taken literally, or were they ancient metaphors for insurmountable foes? Either way, the fate of these giants remains one of the Bible's most haunting mysteries. Number 8. The Lost Years of Jesus. Few historical figures have been studied more than Jesus of Nazareth. Yet despite being believed to have lived for 33 years, more than half of his life is completely unaccounted for. From the age of 12 to 30, the Bible says absolutely nothing about what Jesus did, where he went, or how he lived. This mysterious period is commonly referred to as the lost years, or the hidden life of Jesus. The Gospels recount his birth and a few moments from his childhood, but then leap forward to his adult ministry, leaving a gaping hole in the narrative. The lack of detail has inspired countless books and theories over the centuries. Many Christians assume he simply lived a quiet life in Nazareth, but others suggest more adventurous possibilities. Some claim he traveled to England, while others believe he spent time in India, possibly studying Eastern philosophies or living in solitude. What Jesus truly did during those lost years remains one of the greatest enigmas in Christian history. Number 9. The location of Jesus' crucifixion. The crucifixion of Jesus is arguably the most pivotal event in the New Testament, and one of the most significant moments in all of human history. It marks a turning point so powerful that it literally split world chronology into before Christ and after Christ. Historical sources outside the Bible confirm that crucifixion was a common Roman method of execution, and that Jesus of Nazareth was indeed crucified. Yet despite its monumental importance, the exact location where this took place remains unknown. The Bible says it happened at a place called Golgotha, a hill outside the city walls of ancient Jerusalem. All four Gospels agree on this name, which likely comes from a Hebrew word meaning skull, possibly referring to the countless human skulls left behind from executions carried out there. Today, several possible sites have been suggested, but none are definitive. Even the location of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, long believed by many to mark the true spot, is based more on tradition than on solid archaeological evidence. So, the precise hill where Jesus gave his final breath remains a mystery. Number 10. The name of the Witch of Endor. She's one of the most enigmatic figures in the Bible, a medium so powerful that even a king once broke his own laws to seek her help. She is known only as the Witch of Endor. According to the book of Samuel, King Saul, desperate and facing an impending battle against the Philistines, sought her out, despite having outlawed all forms of witchcraft and divination. He asked her to summon the spirit of the prophet Samuel who had died. To everyone's shock, she succeeded. Samuel's spirit foretold Saul's doom, warning that he had lost God's favor and that both he and his kingdom would soon fall. And indeed, everything came true. But here's the twist. No one knows her name. This powerful woman, central to one of the Bible's most chilling supernatural moments, remains unnamed. Some later texts, like the biblical antiquities, suggest she might have been called Sedekla, the daughter of a Midianite priest, but this is speculation at best. To this day, the true identity of the Witch of Endor remains lost in the shadows of time. Number 11. The location of the Garden of Eden. Genesis 2:8 states, "And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed." But where exactly was this legendary paradise? The Bible offers only vague geographic clues. It tells us Eden was located in the east and was nourished by a river that split into 4 branches. Genesis 2:10-14 names them. Pishon, which flowed around the land of Havilah, a place said to be rich in gold and precious stones. Gihon, which surrounded the land of Cush. Hiddekel, commonly identified as the Tigris, flowing east of Assyria. And Euphrates, one of the most well-known rivers in the world. Despite these references, no one knows the exact location of Eden. Some scholars place it in Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates still flow. Others believe it may have been in modern-day Armenia, Persia, or even Africa. But no definitive site has ever been found. The Garden of Eden remains a symbol of a perfect world lost, a paradise hidden beyond the reach of humanity. Number 12. The Leviathan. Among the most terrifying creatures described in the Bible is the Leviathan, a monstrous beast that seems ripped straight from mythology. In Job chapter 41, verses 18-21, it's described in chilling detail. Its snorting throws out flashes of light. Its eyes are like the rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Many interpret the Leviathan as a symbol of chaos, or even a demon. In certain Sahanic traditions, Leviathan is listed among the 4 crown princes of hell, alongside Lucifer, Satan, and Belial. During the Age of Exploration, sailors believed in the Leviathan as a very real threat, a sea monster that could crush ships, often imagined as a giant serpent or monstrous whale. Was it a metaphor, a myth, or something once real? Whatever the truth may be, the Leviathan continues to haunt the waters of human imagination.
Number 13. The identities of Gog and Magog.
Though the names Gog and Magog sound like characters from a fantasy epic, their true identities remain a subject of intense debate and mystery. In the book of Ezekiel, Gog is portrayed as a prince, while Magog is a land. Ezekiel 38:2-3 reads, "Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Prophesy against him and say, 'This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.'" But in the book of Revelation, Gog and Magog are nations that join Satan in the final apocalyptic battle. Some scholars believe Gog refers to Gyges, a Lydian king who reigned around 680 to 640 BC and founded the kingdom of Lydia. Throughout history, Gog and Magog have been linked to various peoples, the Huns, the Magyars, and even Muslims, depending on the era and interpretation. Are they historical figures, symbolic representations of evil, or simply prophetic metaphors? Their legacy continues to spark intrigue and fear. Number 14. The ages of biblical figures. According to the Bible, the early patriarchs lived astonishingly long lives, far beyond what we consider humanly possible today. Enosh, son of Seth and grandson of Adam and Eve, lived 905 years. His son Kenan surpassed him with 910 years. Seth himself reached 912 years, despite being born after Adam and Eve were expelled from Eden. Adam is said to have lived 930 years. Noah was 600 when the flood came, and lived another 350 years, dying at 950. Then came Jared, who reached 962. But none lived longer than Methuselah, the grandfather of Noah, who died at 969 years, the oldest human lifespan recorded in the Bible. How could anyone live that long? One theory suggests that these ages were counted using lunar months, not solar years. By that math, 969 lunar cycles would translate to around 74 solar years, a more realistic age. Others argue the ages were symbolic or were crafted to harmonize various ancient traditions that eventually merged into the Bible. There's even a theory that early humans' longevity came from their vegetarian diet and purer environment. Whatever the explanation, the incredible lifespans of these biblical figures continue to fascinate and puzzle scholars and believers alike. Number 15. The fate of the lost tribes of Israel. According to the Hebrew Bible and the Old Testament, 12 tribes descended from the sons and grandsons of the patriarch Jacob. But 10 of these tribes vanished after being exiled by the Assyrians in 722 BC. They were taken beyond the Euphrates River into Upper Mesopotamia and were never heard from again. Since then, the mystery of the lost tribes of Israel has fascinated scholars, explorers, and religious communities. Over time, various groups have claimed descent from these lost tribes, some driven by faith, others by the hope of gaining Israeli citizenship. Possible locations where these tribes may have settled include Iran, Ethiopia, Nigeria, India, Afghanistan, China, Japan, and even the Americas. Many believe that the reunion of the lost tribes will occur before the end of the world, fulfilling ancient prophecies and setting the stage for final redemption. Number 16. The date of the end of the world. The Christian Bible states that one day, the world as we know it will end, giving way to the earthly reign of Christ. But when will this happen? According to the Gospel of Matthew, even Jesus himself clarified that no one knows the day or hour, not the angels nor mankind. Only God knows. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. Despite this warning, throughout the centuries, dozens of so-called prophecies have attempted to predict the exact date of the world's end, most based on interpretations of the Bible. As the year 1000 AD approached, panic spread across Europe. Christian armies launched holy wars, trying to convert as many pagans as possible before what they believed was the imminent apocalypse. History has shown us that every prediction has been wrong so far. Still, the question lingers: when will the end truly come? Number 17. the day Jesus was born. There's a long-standing debate over the year Jesus was born, even though the Gospel of Luke provides some indirect clues. But when it comes to the exact day, the Bible is completely silent. After analyzing various New Testament references, most scholars believe that Jesus was born around the beginning of the Common Era. But the precise date remains unknown, meaning it could have been any day of the year. So why do we celebrate it on December 25th? That date was adopted by the early Christian church in the 3rd century, not because of scriptural evidence, but to coincide with pagan winter solstice festivals, a strategic move to make Christianity more acceptable to Roman society. Number 18. Was Jesus married? The Bible never mentions Jesus having a wife or children. However, apart from his mother, the woman with whom he had the closest relationship was Mary Magdalene. According to the Gospels, she was spared from execution for adultery by Jesus, who famously said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." After that, she became part of his inner circle, following him throughout his ministry. The Gospels state that she was present during his crucifixion, at the burial, and was the first to discover the empty tomb. She even ran to tell Peter and the apostles what she had seen. Pope John Paul II later referred to her as the Apostle to the Apostles. Still, alternative theories persist, most notably the claim that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were secretly married and had descendants. This idea, widely rejected by mainstream Christianity, became globally known after the publication of Dan Brown's best-selling novel, The Da Vinci Code. Could the bloodline of Jesus still exist? Or is it just fiction mixed with ancient rumor? Number 19. The fate of the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant, described in the Book of Exodus, was built according to precise instructions given by God to Moses. It was a wooden chest overlaid with gold, designed to hold the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, along with other sacred items. According to biblical accounts, it was once captured by the Philistines, but they quickly returned it to the Israelites, placing it on a cart pulled by a cow and accompanied by golden offerings. Why? Because its presence seemed to bring them a series of disastrous plagues. Later, King Saul reportedly took the ark into battle, and King David moved it to Mount Zion. Eventually, King Solomon placed it inside the Holy of Holies, in the First Temple of Jerusalem. Then, in 587 BC, the Babylonians under King Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed the temple, and the ark vanished without a trace. To this day, its location remains a mystery. Was it hidden, taken, destroyed, or could it still be out there, waiting to be found? Number 20. The Lost City of Ophir. The Old Testament mentions several lost regions, and one of the most intriguing is Ophir, cited in the books of Genesis, Job, Kings, and Isaiah. Ophir was said to be a land overflowing with wealth, a biblical equivalent of El Dorado. According to tradition, King Solomon received shipments from Ophir every 3 years, containing gold, silver, gemstones, ivory, sandalwood, even peacocks. Yet no one knows exactly where it was. Some scholars believe Ophir may have been located in southern Arabia, in what is now Yemen. Others link it to the legendary kingdom of Sheba, another rich and mysterious realm mentioned in both the Bible and the Quran, also famously connected to its unnamed queen. Whether real or myth, Ophir continues to inspire treasure hunters, historians, and biblical researchers alike. Which of these biblical mysteries did you find most fascinating? Do you know of any others we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments section. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next mystery.